This is just his statement. Take a listen, then we'll set it up. Emerald, we'll start with you. Go ahead and take a listen.
Our friends must work to answer all of the overwhelming, detailed, specific, factual, and documentary evidence we have introduced of the president's clear and overwhelming guilt in inciting violent insurrection.
I mean, Emerald, this whole thing, they took almost the full 16 hours, which I don't think anybody expected. But this thing, they were trying to tug on those heartstrings.
Expected it. Who didn't expect them to take the full 16? I totally did. Yes, I did.
I mean, the clock was like 58, 59, and 16 hours.
Yeah, no, I definitely expected them to. I mean, this is their opportunity to, put as much out there as they wanted to. And I think if they had more time, they would have probably taken it. So, yeah, the former president's team comes up today. I don't think they are going to take their whole time, and they didn't in the first impeachment trial either. And I thought there was one notable from the impeachment trial yesterday. One of the impeachment managers said that essentially it's up to Congress to decide what's high crimes and misdemeanors, and that goes right along with them also having one of their colleagues oversee the impeachment. And, the thing is, I know the ratings are out there, but most people I talk to, average Americans, I talked to a lot of people yesterday just across America to ask them if they were watching it. And even some of my more politically minded friends, they have impeachment fatigue and aren't watching this time.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark, this is our second impeachment in 13 months. I've got impeachment fatigue, and we've got to talk about this every day. We're into this stuff. But I'll tell you what, I don't think the American people, I hate to say, I know they care, but I don't think they're watching.
No, I did a focus group last night with 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and they were paying attention, but this clearly is not the most important thing in their life. And I think the impeachment managers, if they've given up on trying to persuade the Republicans and they're playing to the country, I'm not sure that's going to go any better for them, even though they are making the case, using their time just the way they want to do it, just the way they want history to see their vision of what happened.
Kim Klacik, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Yesterday, impeachment manager Jamie Raskin, at the end of his long, closing argument, read a poem from Thomas Paine, and I'm sitting there listening to this poem, and I said to myself, yeah, I mean, it's lovely. It's Thomas Paine, whatever it is, a piece from one of his books. But what does it have to do with Donald Trump? What does it have to do with inciting insurrection?
Absolutely nothing. This is what we hear from the left all of the time, unfortunately. They were trying to pull at people's heartstrings. They want people to be emotional here. But I have to agree, I don't think many people are paying attention. I've been talking to some of my friends, my family members, and they're just not watching. But I have to say, I have received so many emails and so many text messages from both the DNC and the RNC. I'm registered to both, just to see what they're talking about. But they are making so much money off of this impeachment trial. So I would be surprised if this isn't just a fundraising bid.
Yeah. Amanda, do we have any idea what the numbers look like? Emerald, I know you just mentioned that, but does it seem like the American people are watching this and the networks are thriving off impeachment ratings?
I saw one of the media sites say that there was 11 million on the first day.
Right. That's high.
I think that didn't include NBC's numbers, so I'm not sure. But I mean, quickly scrolling through, that's something I saw.
Steve, Amanda, I want to bring you in here. The focus will now start to shift. 12 o'clock Eastern today. The president's attorneys will get up there. David Schoen said yesterday that he does not. I mean, they could wrap it up today. Do you see that happening?
I do. I think that basically they want to respond to everything that the allegations that were made, and they want to focus on the fact that this is your First Amendment right. And this is now political speech that we're talking about. And it happens on both sides. Democrats have said just as many things about, we're going to fight like hell, you should fight like hell, we all are going to fight like hell. Get up in their faces. We're not going to stop. So where are the lines drawn? Just because it's President Trump, is that why we're in the midst of this? Because this is political speech and it is protected.
Yeah. Steve?
Well, I guess I see it very differently. I see a president summoned a lot of people to Capitol Hill, sent them to the Capitol, inspired an insurrection. I think that he was involved in this. I think there's a legitimate debate about the constitutionality of this. I'm on the side that believes the actions that are being taken now are constitutional, and that the president is president until his last day, and he is responsible for everything he does that last day. And so in my book, I hope they take more, because I'd like to hear a detailed and thorough understanding of the law. I don't think this is a matter of ratings. I think this is a somber issue, and it's really too bad that we have to have this debate. I have nothing against any president of this, but if a president does not understand, or this president didn't understand that he lost the election and he didn't want to leave, he flirted with martial law, and he sat and did nothing while his vice president was under potential threat of death. I just find it remarkable
Steve,
that we're talking about ratings.
Mark, jump in.
Steve, if it's somber and serious and constitutional, why aren't we seeing witness testimony and depositions in the House and in the Senate?
We should have. We absolutely should have. And I agree with you, Mark. When Rob asked me the other day, had the bar on impeachment been lowered, I said, well, the bar had been lowered in the sense that we should have the full Monty with regards to witnesses and whatnot. I think that the issue here is one where the Democratic Party was politically expedient to try to rush this through before the end of Trump's term. And so now there is an interesting
Hold on one sec,
loophole,
Steve. I want to
right?
hear from Emerald on that point. Steve, 1 sec. Emerald, go ahead.
Well, also, there's still a lot of fact-finding going on about that day. We are learning more about what law enforcement is investigating as far as pre-planning groups that have been coming to the Capitol to do reconnaissance. Also possible foreign money coming into certain groups in the United States to help plan to incite violence on January 6th and help conduct it. We're also just learning so much more about that date. I think they're going to learn a lot more because they're still under investigation. So it seems like if we're talking about witnesses and true facts, this is a very, preemptive.
No, you can take it.
Proceeding. It's actually one of our producers from another show.
Is it, bring them on here. I want to hear what they have to say.
I just don't see any justification for not having witnesses, including the people who were around the president that day, except their political reasons why they don't want to do it. But it seems if they're trying to leave a historical record and judge the former president fairly, they should be hearing from people who spent the day with him.
Right. Kim, I want to give you the final thought, but Steve, to your point, the Democrats have been focus grouping there, and I get that focus groups happen all the time with everything, but they have been holding focus groups for how they wanted to present this, including that dramatic video that we all saw on Tuesday, although I'm not convinced a lot of the American people saw that lengthy Hollywood production that they put out, which was compelling. Totally compelling, but they're not calling witnesses. They're focus grouping this. They're tailoring the imagery to tug on heartstrings. I just think that should be brought up as well. Kim, we'll give you the final thought, then we got to take a break.
Yeah, I can't believe people are blaming President Trump for this. I mean, everyone that's been arrested so far, that's been involved, has been over the age of 18, right? So these are adults that we're talking about. And unless President Trump actually paid for their travel and their lodging to be there, he invited them to the Stop the Steal rally. He did not invite them to the Capitol to riot. So I just don't see how they're making that connection there, but we shall see.
All right, we have a lot to dive into with this very same panel at the top of the hour, including something that is Mark Halpern has been texting me for 4 days. We want to talk about Joe Biden's plan to put kids back in school for one day. My question, does he care more about migrant kids at